September is absolutely huge for gaming, one of the biggest months in recent memory, so let's just quickly run through all the games that I know are coming out in September and that I'm kind of excited for, or at least interested in. If there are any that I missed, please put them in the comments and let everyone know about them, because I'm sure that there are some that I am not aware of that are actually really good. All the relevant resources, trailers, gameplay overviews and things like that will be in the description underneath the titles of the games, and if you want to check those out, then they are there for you to check out. I'm not going to go into too much detail about each game in this video, just because that would take up too much time. I'm just trying to list them, let you know about them, give you a brief overview of them, and that's what we're going to do. It's just a personal list, so let's get into it. Witchfire is an early access game coming out on the Epic Games Store. It's a roguelike shooter, and I'm happy to have many more of these. I think this is a totally underappreciated genre with a ton of potential, and this is one that combines spellcraft and guns, and it looks like it combines them in incredibly unique and varied ways to have intuitive interactions in the gameplay between both of your spells and the use of your guns. I'm incredibly excited for this one. Looks like it's incredibly solid. The only negative is that it's coming out in the Epic Games Store, and I'd love for it to come out on Steam eventually, but either way, early access, Epic Games Store, September 20th. AK Xolotl is coming out September 15th. It's a bullet hell action roguelike featuring AK wielding axolotls. Definitely a unique concept. Power-ups, permanent stat increases, and what looks to be some decent bullet hell action. Wishlist this if nothing else, because it's coming out September 15th. It's on Steam, and I don't know if it's coming out in early access, but either way, looks pretty unique, looks fun. If you're into bullet hells, I'm sure this would be something worth checking out. Synced is one that I kind of forgot about. It's a Tarkov-like, raid-based PvE, PvP shooter. Pretty sure they did a beta that I didn't play a while ago, but either way, it could be interesting, but this is something that could very easily flop. This is a game kind of like the Frontier that could easily flop. I do think we need more games like this, Tarkov, Dark and Darker, things like that. So hopefully this one doesn't flop, and it's coming out September 8th, and it's on Steam. This one is a pretty big update for Tiny Rogues, coming out September 3rd. This is a fantastic bullet hell roguelike. If you haven't tried this yet, I absolutely recommend it. Just thought I'd mention that there's an update for this coming out in September, and if you want to check it out, now would probably be a good time. On to some bigger releases, some more known games. Lies of P, coming out September 19th. It's a Souls-like with a unique-ish setting. I would imagine you can expect the usual gameplay loop of a Souls-like game with this one, but obviously with its own takes and twists. The gameplay that I've seen doesn't convince me just yet, plus I'm not super into Souls games. After seeing some of the gameplay, I'd probably just purchase Elden Ring if I was ever going to buy a Souls game and give it a proper go. But this could still turn out to be good, and if you're into Souls games, I'm sure that this is one you're not going to want to miss out on. It comes out September 19th. Party Animals is a game that I'm sure, absolutely certain, will become a party night staple with friends. You can use all sorts of weapons to beat your friends to death and then push them off the map. Tons of crazy environments to become victim to as well. When the playtest happened a while ago, this one was an absolute blast, and now we get even more of it. Confirmed, coming out September 20th. The Crew Motorfest, coming out September 14th. I'm not a racing fan, but if this is good with friends and, has some sort of decent enough twist, I'll probably give it a go. Again, only if the friends get involved, but, I know The Crew is a bit more than a racing game. This game has been described as having tons of festival-like activities to do, so it could be a fun time, but again, I'd only ever play it with friends. This is not something I'm very keen on playing solo. I believe it's on the Epic Games Store and Ubisoft's platform. There's no Steam Store page for this one at the moment, but yeah, out September 14th. And then if you're interested, Baldur's Gate 3 PS5 comes out on September 3rd if you have early access, and September 6th without early access. Everyone knows Baldur's Gate 3 by now, and if you want to get it on the PS5, well, here's your chance. Mortal Kombat 1 coming out September 19th. I don't know too much about it. I said before I'm not super into racing games. I'm even less into fighting games, but this is a big one, and as always, the finishes look incredible. The roster keeps getting bigger, and visually, you can see that it looks pretty damn good, so I might even get into it. This could be my first fighting game, as this is a pretty damn big one, and it looks pretty good. Out September 19th. Starfield is out on September 1st or September 6th, depending on your early access pre-order. This is Bethesda's next big one. Everyone knows about it. I personally cannot wait for it. The only thing I wish with this one is that the same curiosity I felt when exploring Skyrim is also felt here. Fuck the story, fuck the writing. As long as I'm drawn to go explore that cave or that mountain, or that little crevasse over there, I think I'll be happy. That's all I really want from Starfield. Obviously, I do hope all the aspects are good, but I think that's definitely the most important part for me. Again, out September 1 with early access, September 6th without. September 26th is Phantom Liberty, the cyberpunk expansion that I hope has the same impact on this game that Blood and Wine did for The Witcher 3. I don't think it will have the same impact, but I'm holding out hope for it. The developers have said that it's probably a good idea to wait for the DLC release and then go through a new playthrough of the game. If you haven't got Cyberpunk, now would be a great time to buy it and then obviously dive into it when you have the full revamp of the game, all of its new features, all of its new progressions, and more. Then you can actually play a game that was, kind of promised from the beginning. Cyberpunk is great right now, but obviously Phantom Liberty is going to do a whole lot to make it absolutely the best game that it can possibly be. Again, out September 26th. I personally cannot wait. Payday 3 is out September 21st. There's a ton of expansions and interactions that have been added to the game to shake up the heist gameplay. I personally cannot wait. It looks like there's a dynamic heist state that's going to change with the actions that you perform. Looks like stealth is more forgiving, which is absolutely fantastic. There's a lot to look forward to with this one. I know people are skeptical because it's live service and they could be scumbags in the future and monetize in all sorts of ways, but I'm holding out faith that this one's actually going to be one of the most solid live service games to play in the future. This one's out September 21st. Okay, that's all of them. Go and look at the resources in the description if you want to know more about any one of these games. Have a great day and see you later.